fortunately for us, Stevie is available. Stevie's from Bournemouth University, and he's rather intriguingly going to talk to us about something that has got a tremendous brand name, CyGAMbit. Been trying to guess all week exactly what it is. And Stevie, if you'd like to explain to us all, I'm fascinated to learn a little bit more.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Perfect, wonderful. I've just got to remind myself what CyGAMbit stands for.
Excellent.
No, I'm kidding. It's all about cyber-related game-based interventions, and I do have a few slides to share today. I don't know.
Please do. Please do.
Perhaps I'm over-prepared.
No. Sharing slides is great.
Perfect.
Especially for us visual learners.
Yes, and it's such a pretty
oh, wow.
theme. There we go. Hang on a second. Right. Okay. There we go. Thank you for inviting me today. I'm very excited to be here. We actually only launched CyGAMbit, the game, about a week and a half ago. So it's nice to start having opportunities to talk about it as a game that's actually available, out in the world. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So my name's Stevie. I'm from Bournemouth Uni. I'm part of the social work department. So that's and I trained as a teacher. So that's my background, and that's why I've sort of got an investment in this game. Children, helping children, keeping children safe, very important to me. So bit of a summary. CyGAMbit is a game that is engaging and exciting for young people. It provides the knowledge that they need to stay safe online. It's really interactive, and it makes that learning fun. I will show you what the game looks like in a little bit. So just to share with you a bit about our team, because honestly, I think that the strength in this game is the variation of skills we have in our team. So we're made up of social workers, teachers, privacy specialists, game developers, game-based learning experts. So I think that's sort of the strength of the game is you've got all of that within our team that we can bring to the game. Just a little bit about our background. Why have we made this game? How did we get here? My team have actually been really involved in game-based learning tools for quite a few years now. I mean, I've been with the team for 5 years, and it sort of predates me. So it's been quite a long process up until now. This was the first game that our team developed. It's called Scams and Ladders. We were so proud of it at the time. We use it for all public engagement that we do, and it was the first game that we also turned into a digital game. So that's another sort of learning game that we have. And once we sort of were able to turn that into a digital game, we sort of realized, oh, actually, this is really something that's possible for us to do, to create these learning games. And we want to keep expanding that and use them hopefully forever. So I've included in here a few screenshots of some of our other games that we've been working on, just to sort of give you some ideas of what we do. And I just wanted to talk about how important game-based learning is to us. It's a growing area. As it says, in higher education, because it can replicate real-life scenarios, enhancing learners' engagement, retention, critical thinking, and decision-making. So it can really help, especially young people, really internalize the content that they're learning about. So how did we sort of build the content in the game? So we did a lot of research. We spoke to parents, we spoke to teachers, we spoke to young people, and we really wanted to find out what their concerns were, what their priorities were, what the gaps in knowledge were. And I mean, there's a huge skill gap there. There's a huge knowledge gap. And so from the sort of feedback that we got, we were able to develop 5 sort of distinctive areas that really all groups were concerned about. And you can see those on the screen. So they're sort of cyberbullying and trolling, managing information, privacy and security, relationships and reputation, and also identity and well-being. So it was really important to us to have sort of a larger scope than just you know, have good, strong passwords. It's also about how they can really strengthen how they feel about themselves online and those kinds of things, because that can also really help with how they interact with different things online as well, and plays a part in keeping them safe. Initially we were looking at aiming this game towards teenagers, around perhaps 14 to 18-year-olds, and because we knew sort of the vast majority of that group were online, and so we thought, great, that's what we're going to go for. We've actually sort of pivoted a little bit, because upon speaking to various groups, we found out that the average age of independence is around 10 years old now. So, and I honestly, I think for a lot it's younger. So we've pivoted now, we've made a younger sort of set of content that is aimed to 8 to 12-year-olds, so we can really catch them before these issues even start to arise. So I think actually that is really important. So yeah, so as you can see, 84% of parents were concerned about online safety, but they weren't really doing anything about it, whether that's because they just don't have the time, or they don't have the understanding or the skills themselves. And it was similar for teachers. They just didn't quite have that level of understanding to do much about it, or the time really to fit it into their curriculum, the time to go on training, the money to go on training, all of those things. So this is something that can sort of fill that gap. Okay, so, oh yeah, so a bit more information. 95% of teenagers are online but don't know how to protect themselves. We also, I think we have a real big history in researching into scamming, and I think a lot of people assume that it's sort of older people falling for cyber scams because maybe they're not sure what they're doing on the internet or whatever, but actually that's not always the case. Young people are also really falling victim to scamming. They're leaving their households vulnerable as well. So that's really important that we teach them really how to protect themselves and their data. Okay, so a bit more about our game. It's engaging, it's interesting, it's fun, it's colourful. I feel like it really helps to sort of overcome the resistance to wanting to learn. Every group that we go into, they're just so excited, which is just really, really nice to see. And so also something that's great about our particular game, it's live service, which means that we can keep it up to date, so the content will be ever changing. And I think that's really important in this particular market, because the online world, there's new things coming out all the time. There's new apps, you know, TikTok shows up or whatever shows up, and we're able to keep on top of that. Most of the sort of tools out there, they're static. They aren't keeping up to date, and we know how quickly things can change in the online world. So that was really important to us. To be able to, even post-launch, keep adding a stream of content to keep up to date. Yeah, okay, and so yeah, we've tested it. We've got a physical version of the game and we've got a digital version. We originally did just plan on making the physical version, and then COVID hit, and we thought, actually, how can we really reach children and make sure that this is impacting as many people as possible by turning it into a digital game? So that's what we did. So I've included this slide only really to remind me to talk to you about our little player pieces, because I just think they're so cute. I had this idea of using locks as our player pieces. It was completely random, but basically they're an open lock, and if you win, then the idea is that the lock closes and you're safe. And children like that. They're also customizable, so again, it's just those fun elements that children love. They can choose their pattern or the color or the shape of their little player, which is really cute. So yeah, just a little bit about what I feel like. There's a lot of tools out there that are sort of like quiz tools or different things, but either the teacher still needs that information themselves that they can then input and the understanding themselves, or they're really expensive, or different things. But I feel like we wanted to make CyGAMbit something that's just really accessible, just to have as large an impact as possible, and as many children as possible, because that is what is important to us. Yeah, so a bit about where we are. As I said, we only launched officially a week and a half ago. We had a big day up in London. It was really amazing. So we were part of what's called a Cyber ASAP program. Again, I'm not sure I can remember what it's called. I did write it down somewhere. I've got it. The Cybersecurity Academic Startup Accelerator Program. I will never remember that. But that sort of supported us and gave us the training that we needed to really develop the game and make it something that could go out into the world. So we only completed that a week and a half ago. So it's a really exciting time for us. And it means that now we're trialing it with even more young people and have opportunities to share it, which is wonderful. And as you can see, we've had the chance to work with lots of really wonderful collaborators already. And yeah. Okay, so yeah, just a summary, as I said, freshly launched, aiming now to get into schools or just to share the game with as many people as possible. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say, apart from to just quickly show you the game. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes, Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. Stevie. Okay.
Oh, stop. I found the button. Cool. Okay, so here's our website. Am I logged in? Yes. So it's come a long way from the board game that we had. It didn't look anything like this. It was more sort of this theme.
Yeah, you might have to reshare, Stevie.
Oh, okay, okay. Hang on. Yep. That was obvious, wasn't it? Hang on a second. Share. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, so as you can see, the game's
lovely.
in a browser, so it's really, again, accessible. You're not having to download or install anything, which makes it a lot easier. Okay, so and as you can see, we've also got, so we're on our younger question set. We've still got our older question set in there, so that can be used. So these are our little people. Hang on, I've got the camera. I can see myself. There we go. So you can choose your little person, all these fun things that children just love. You can choose the color, you can choose the pattern, and I'll choose the other one. So just to show you what it looks like, here we are. Here's our little universe that we've made. Trying to hide the camera. It's in the way. There we go. So this is our world. As you can see up here, there's 1 to 5, which is the categories. The actual concept is quite simple. You want to collect 1 from each category to win. You've got shields, which means which allow you to have sort of superpowers. You can re-roll and add sort of numbers to your roll and those sorts of things. Here, where I've just pulled this out, would have all of the rest of the players, so you can do a little bit of comparison, see where you're at. Yeah, and that's sort of how it goes. We've got a little dice down here. And I just think that the pieces are so cute in the way that they run around. There we go. Trying to zoom in. There we go. Oh, I've got too much going on my screen. Here we are. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had to share with you. Again, I can't find the stop share. There we go.
Well, thank you, Stevie.
There you go.
That's tremendous. That
Cool.
just I can see the appeal of that. And now, you know, the constant challenge is the intervention at the earliest opportunity, before the problem's bitten.